In this video, we will show you how to replace your left side main temperature HVAC blend door actuator on this Acura MDX. This will be located under your left side dash. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. To gain access, we have to remove the lower panel underneath the driver's side dash. Looking up inside this port here, there's going to be a small twist tab. You just want to take hold of that and we can give it a little twist to dislodge it. A quick inspection to make sure it is still reusable and we'll set that aside. Continuing on, you want to take hold of the panel. We're going to give it a light tug down along this rearward area here closest to us. Once we have it down, you're going to find that you have electrical connectors that we have to disconnect as well. With that pulled down, we can start disconnecting each of these two electrical connectors. We'll start with this larger gray one. For this, it has a locking tab which is located just along the top. You can use your fingers or just a small screwdriver. We'll dislodge that, a quick inspection for corrosion, of course. Now we have another electrical connector. This one's for the lamp. The locking tab for this is located down along the bottom. It's a little bit hard to gain access to, but essentially just carefully reach under with your index finger. We'll squeeze it in and dislodge that as well. There's that locking tab right there. I just pressed it in, pulled it out of place. Now we can take hold of that whole panel and we'll slide it straight rearward towards the driver's seat to remove it from the passenger compartment. Now that we have the panel out of the way, we're going to be looking all the way towards the center of the vehicle here. You're going to be able to find the actuator. We have a green connector. It has a locking tab, but it's actually on the inboard side, right where my index finger is. So I'll just go ahead and squeeze on that. We'll pull it out of place. You can see that locking tab. A quick inspection for corrosion. Once you have your wiring harness disconnected, the next thing we're going to do is remove our three 7mm headed mounting bolts. You can see one on the lower corner, one located just above it, and then as we make our way diagonally here, we have our third mounting bolt. Let's go ahead and remove all three of these and the actuator from the vehicle. I'm going to start with the hardest one to see here, which is going to be the top. There's our bolt. A quick inspection of the mounting hardware as we continue. Replace it as necessary. Go for this top one here now. Second bolt looks same as the first. On to the last mounting bolt. At this point, it's completely dismounted. Go ahead and take hold of that actuator and remove it from the vehicle. There it is, friend. With that out of position, the next thing we'll do is just take hold of this and ensure it can move freely and it's not binding in any way. Now let's prepare to install our brand new actuator. When we install this, we want to make sure we have each of these two tabs aligned with the slot that's on the lever that we were just moving up and down. Once you have those aligned, you need to continue on by aligning all three of the mounting areas for those mounting screws. There we are. Now, while holding this in the proper position, let's go ahead and start in all three of our mounting bolts. Let's get this one started. We've got one of them started in. Let's continue on to the other two. There's our second one. Now let's move along to our third mounting bolt. As you do this, be careful not to drop it behind your paneling. It will be difficult to find. All three of them are started in. We can go ahead and snug them up. Start with the top one, the hardest one to get to here. All right, there's one. Let's get the other two. That's the second one. Time for our last mounting bolt on the top corner there. Once you feel as though you have all of them tightened in, take hold of the actuator and give it a little wiggle. We want to make sure it's properly secured. Let's go ahead and take hold of it. Ensure it cannot move around. You definitely don't want it to pull away, in which case the lever is not going to work properly. Now it's time for the electrical connector. For that, we want to make sure we have that locking tab facing inboard. We'll align this, press it in. Listen for a click from that. Give it a tug, make sure that's properly secured. Now, before we go any further, you want to make sure you test the functionality. We'll put the key in the on position and adjust the temperature control. Now it's time for our plastic panel. We'll start getting this close to being in position into its mounting points on the body. We don't need to press it in completely because the next thing we actually need to do is the electrical connectors. As for the electrical connectors, you just want to take them, line them up, and press them into the position. Listen for a click from each of them as you continue on. After confirming each of those are secure, the next thing we'll do is just make sure that everything's aligned along the front of the body here, and we can start swinging this up into the proper position. Got this side pressed in. Now up inside this area, we have the spot for our small plastic twist tab. Just going to try to get this aligned and lock it in. Just double check, make sure everything's properly secured in place here. You don't want it falling down while you're driving down the road. Okay, friend, we finished our installation. We've already tested the functionality. Double check to make sure everything's properly secured. Aside from that, thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.